Welcome to Trini Ting, Ray Holman, A Lifetime in Pan, an intimate chat with master composer, arranger, and pannist Ray Holman. In this opening episode, Ray takes us back to his roots, his early years, his love for music beyond the pan, and the moments that shaped his creative spirit. From childhood memories to his approach to composition, Ray reveals the blend of feeling and structure that defines his musical voice.
Morning, Mr. Ray.
Good morning, Mr. Derwin.
Yes, thank you for doing this. So to start us off, I normally like to get some standard questions, Can you take us back to where you grew up? Where was that? And what are some of the earliest memories, especially of school or music?
Well, I grew up on Anna Street, Woodbrook. So I was born and bred there, right? And I still live in Woodbrook, though not in Anna Street. The earliest memories I have were of my friends coming to play cricket in our backyard, We had a coconut bat, we had a coconut tree in the yard, so we fashioned a bat, and that was it. And one startling memory, well, of course, of my family life, but I saw a steel band one day on the pavement parading, and that made a real mark on my psyche. So I sort of was enamored with it. So I would say I enjoyed my early years.
And what school did you attend as a...
I attended several schools. The first one was at the Little Carib. Beryl McBurney's mother, Auntie Willie. She had a preschool there. So that was the first school I went to. And from then, I went to, I think, it's Bodkins on Oxford Street. Went there. Also went to St. Crispin's for a little while. And then Mrs. Roberts on Devonshire Street. So I went to several schools.
Okay.
But the one that I really enjoyed was going to Queen's Hall College. That really was my first enjoyment of school.
Okay. Why was that?
Well, the sting of the whip was absent.
Ah. So what, you were somebody who encouraged the need for whipping, or?
Well, by my ignorance of mathematics.
Okay.
Not for bad behavior.
Okay, right.
But for feeling to catch maths as easily as some other people.
Okay.
But I eventually passed it.
Right.
But those were my early memories.
Okay. So tell me something in terms of music, Outside of pan, what would be your favorite genre of music and why?
I seem to enjoy most genres. Well, I grew up hearing calypso, of course, on the radio. But in those days, the radio played a wide variety of music. So I'm saying I was fortunate to have grown up at that time. So I heard classical music, jazz, popular music, Indian music. And I think that kind of informed my musical vocabulary.
Okay.
And my uncles had a violin. They didn't play it much. But my cousin had a guitar. So I was always around music. I never took it seriously, I never knew that I would become a musician. I really had no desire, no interest in that. I had like my sports. I had the cricket. I was a cricket fanatic. I like to go and swim now. But gradually, when I first was introduced to the pan, I started to blossom. My first contact with it was very, very forgettable one.
Okay.
But subsequently, I got involved. I went to Invaders,
And that was at what age?
12 years old. I went in. Well, I got involved with the Pan when I was 11.
Okay.
But I say that was a disastrous beginning. So going to Invaders was a big help.
Okay. So you want to tell us a little bit more about that disastrous beginning, or?
Well, it was that we were trying to play, it was in a little Carib. Beryl McBurney had a vision to ask Ellie to make a set of pans. She had the little Carib theater there.
Right.
And my best friend Roy lived adjacent to it was the same lot of land, but the Carib was separated by about 10 feet from the residence. So she had the pans there. So Roy's father, who himself was a musician, suggested to us one day we go up. He went up and he called a tune and we tried to, we got the first note, of course. And the first note, whichever note you play is the right note to start. But we just couldn't go ahead. And I came out of there very frustrated and it inflated my ego. And I said, that's the end of that. That was the end of that. He tried to get me and I said, no. This is not for me. And when I went to Invaders, quite by chance, Ellie Mannett called us in the Pannist. A couple of friends of mine called us in. That's how it started.
Okay. Well, I guess history has a way of being kind to us sometimes, and that seems to have happened.
Yes.
Nice. A little bit about you. You consider yourself an early bird or a night owl?
I think I, over the years, became a night owl. When we were young boys, at night we used to, when my mother and my aunt taking their little walks, I would go along with them. And when I got into the Pan, I think that was another way of staying up later than I ought to. So that has persisted now. I'm always looking at, oh gosh, I feel I'm missing something in the day. The day comes to close so soon. I feel I'm missing something. Something nice might come along or develop. So I'm saying go 3 and 4 times, not that kind of night, or 3, 4, no, not that. But sometimes I used to write at night, and compose and arrange at night, whatever I had to do sometimes, So that habit was developed by music.
I see. And it persists now.
Yes, but I mean, now I don't do much writing anymore because I have so many tunes there that I don't really need to go and write more, So if what I've been doing, I pull out some from the past, and I have 1 or 2 that I write if I really have something to say.
Okay.
If I don't, I keep my mouth shut.
That's safe.
Yeah, I'm not writing for the sake of it, although I enjoy it. But I say I have so many things there that why press my brain more? Why put that pressure on myself?
Okay.
So one by one they're coming out, which is good. I don't think I could live long enough to play all. A friend once told me that. He said, why do you bring all the tunes? He said, you can't live long enough to play all them songs. So gradually we're doing.
That's
Sit
nice.
back.
Yeah, don't keep them hidden from us.
No, I'm trying my best.
Nice. Ray, tell us something about you that people will be surprised to learn.
They might be surprised to know that my first yearning was to become a priest.
Okay.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, we lived up in Anna Street. We lived opposite to the Hackshaws. They were Roman Catholic family, and they were very friendly with priests. So priests were always visiting there, you know. And you know, you're young and impressionable, you see, that might be a nice thing. I admire them. But it didn't last all that long. When I say a few years.
Right.
When I discovered other pleasures, you know, that went out the window.
Okay. If that had gone on, I'd be referring to you as the Reverend Holman.
Yes.
I see. Father Ray.
Father.
So Ray, how would you describe your musical voice to someone hearing your work for the first time?
Well, that goes by what they heard or when it was written.
So that has changed over time.
It has changed over time, you know.
Right.
It has got more mellow. And so I would try to say warm. But up to the 70s, I don't think it was all that warm. But subsequently, it took a more loving look at life.
Right.
So I would say that warm, and I would hope to say inspiring. Harmonious is a word I would like to use.
Yes, I would agree there wholeheartedly. Okay, so go back to the first era, if I could call it that, or the first segment. You know, you say it wasn't always that warm.
No.
Why would you describe that as not as warm?
Because, you know, I started to arrange at the Beatles Pannist, maybe about 15, 16. And when I started to get more into it, it became a bit more fiery. See? It started off nice, but then it got a little more, when you grow in your 20s, now you're feeling your oats, now you know you're,
Right.
it got a little more. 70s really was a wonderful time. The band you with too could help you to feel a certain way, you know. So I was with Starlet at the time, you know. What was nice, most people were from the area.
Good.
They had a nice feeling, and up right up the street there, he always inspiring me, you know. So it was very fiery. It was fiery, although musically, it had musical depth. But it was a little, as time went on, I started to think a little differently of it, you know. So I can't let my work be conditioned by panorama only, you know. So started to look in other directions. It all depends on the day too. A day you might get up and you feel, today I got a feeling real alive. If I were to write something, it would be like that.
Okay, right.
So I suppose that the question is that it depends on the time when the music was written, on the age, you know. You get older. They say we're supposed to get wiser. Supposed to.
It's a big word.
And your thoughts change. You know, situations make you think differently. I traveled a lot and I was also listening to music, and I try to listen to quote-unquote good music. I don't like noisy music. My nature, I really can't stand too much noise because it interferes with my peace of mind.
Okay.
My peace of mind is my mental castle. So I really don't, you would hardly find me in a rum shop where people talking loud. I don't like that.
Okay.
I'm not saying people shouldn't go. I'm saying me, I don't really enjoy that sort of thing. Of course I could take a little drink like anybody else, but I don't need to be in an environment where people are shouting, and I don't really do. That's not me. That's why I prefer to be by the savannah, by a park, or go to the sea or something. You know, nature.
Right.
I'm a nature lover.
Okay.
I'm not a concrete lover. You see this house? You see what is in this house?
Plenty wood.
Wood, right? Wood comes from the forest, nature. So that's what I'm about.
Warmth.
Warmth, yes.
Nice, nice. Well, let's talk a little bit about composing. When you're composing, do you start with feeling or you start with structure?
Well, again, I'll have to say it all depends on when the moment arrives that I'm going to write something. If I was making a conscious effort, so today I want to write a song. I feel I want to. Well, I'll pick up my guitar and I'll start to play around with it, and see what comes out. If I know what I want to write about or kind of tune I want to write, I have to put myself in a certain frame of mind, So I wrote mostly from the guitar rather than the pan. The pan I wrote very, very few pieces, except solo pieces I write in the pan.
Okay.
But because I had learned to play the guitar, and the guitar you have 6 strings, you could form a chord. The pan is there's 2 sticks in it. And I suppose I'm lazy in the sense that I like to sit and write. I like to sit and play a guitar. Like a pianist, he's sitting.
Right.
Pan have to stand, so it's a little more taxing on your body, So I just didn't answer your question fully. You're playing and then you're not planning to play anything specific, but the melody might come based on the little chords you're playing, and you could reshape it.
Right.
And then use different harmony to make it more extensive, see?
Okay.
But sometimes you just walk in and I get a melody, and that's it. Like woman, I develop it.
Okay.
The case of one of the songs I think you like, Plenty Lovin'.
Yes.
I wrote that song, I wrote that melody while I was walking from Fatima College. Come home here for lunch. I didn't plan to write a song. As I came around the corner of the image, I started to hum this thing, and I walked fast, but I said, I don't want to forget it. I wrote it down, So that some things are unplanned.
Right.
But if I have something to do, say like you're going panorama, you have to write a piece, or somebody wants me to write a song for them, or for an event or something like that. I have to settle down and do it. But right here, I feel, coming up with melodies, you have to practice to do that. I mean, nobody can teach me. I can learn from people, from their work.
Okay.
But when people say that somebody taught them how to write music, write it down, notate it. But to come up with most of the modern writers couldn't read music. I'm not saying that we shouldn't learn to read, but composition, I think, there's 2 types. You look at Bach. Bach was a composer, so he was like a mathematician, right? That was the classical period. Then you go on to the romantic period. You have like Chopin, Mendelssohn, these kind of composers that wrote really from their heart. I think the best is a combination.
Right.
Of course, a synthesis. Like, I don't want to go into too much detail about Hegel and all of that, but synthesis, to combine two ideas and come up with the product of the two is a synthesis. So I think both systems or methods of composition have their place.
Feeling and structure.
Yes,
Right.
I think so.